From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, September 22nd. Fall begins this afternoon, and it certainly feels like it. Wet, cool, and windy start for your Wednesday. You're going to need that rain gear on hand as rain is likely throughout a big chunk of the day. Highs reach the upper 50s. The CDC is gathering to discuss booster shots and who should get them today. The meeting comes almost a week after an FDA advisory committee recommended the shot should only be considered for those 65 and older and anyone who is immunocompromised. The FDA has not made a final decision. Officials are trying to manage expectations since the Biden administration announced the September 20th rollout deadline. That has, of course, come and gone. Wish TV's medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams explains why there's so much confusion surrounding the shots.
Some of that has been on the part of communication from the government and from the companies. And some of that's just because there's a lot of new information.
The CDC is scheduled to meet again tomorrow. President Biden holds a virtual vaccine summit today. He's set to urge fellow world leaders to do more to make sure all countries have access to COVID-19 shots. Biden spoke in person to UN General Assembly Tuesday morning, pledging a new era of diplomacy from the United States and called for closer work between all countries.
Our security, our prosperity, and our very freedoms are interconnected, in my view, as never before. And so, I believe we must work together as never before. I prioritize rebuilding our alliances, revitalizing our partnerships, and recognizing they're essential and central to America's enduring security and prosperity.
Biden referred to tensions with Russia and China, saying he doesn't want another Cold War. And the Biden administration kicks off its return to school road trip today in South Bend. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona will tour Madison STEAM Academy. That meeting began at 8:15 this morning. The tour is meant to showcase students and communities safely returning to in-person learning. Cardona also heads to Ohio today and Michigan tomorrow and Friday. U.S. officials say many of the thousands of Haitian migrants camping out of the Texas border are being released into the United States. A source told the Associated Press that those released were also given notices to appear at an immigration office within 60 days. Exceeding capacity and resources, other migrants are being bused and flown from Del Rio, Texas, to other cities along the Texas border to be processed before deportation. Expulsion flights back to Haiti began on Sunday. 7 daily flights are set to start today. On Capitol Hill Tuesday, senators pressed Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas about the plan.
Just trying to understand, is this success? Are you telling me that this is successful? Your plan is successful currently?
Senator, we are not finished in the execution of our plan, and I never suggested otherwise. We continue to do the work that we are required to do to secure our border. That is an ongoing process, and indeed we are executing.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's now using unprecedented methods to deter migrants from crossing into the state. That includes making a so-called steel barrier of Texas National Guard and public safety vehicles along the border. Officers are also arresting anyone who crosses the border illegally for trespassing. Governor Abbott blamed the Biden administration.
These Border Patrol officers are overwhelmed with the amount of work they are required to do, and they're suffering the consequences of an administration that is not providing them either the personnel or the resources they need.
Adding to the trouble, the White House is now under heavy scrutiny from Democrats over video showing U.S. Border Patrol agents on horseback aggressively blocking and moving migrants trying to cross the border. Talked about this on the podcast yesterday. Secretary Mayorkas says the agents are on administrative duties while authorities investigate. And right now, there is a desperate search to find more victims of a serial rapist. This morning, Indianapolis police say Daryl Goodloe faces dozens of charges after they say he raped 8 women. Investigators want to know if there are cases that they're not yet aware of. News 8's Demi Johnson reports on the similarities so far.
There is no doubt in my mind, because of their bravery and their courage, that they have kept other women in this community safe.
Police say Daryl Goodlow's victims fit a certain description. Women in their 60s and 70s who usually lived alone. But now investigators wonder how far back the case goes and if there are more women they don't know about.
It's within the right of a victim. If they don't want a police report, if they don't want to be involved with us, then they certainly don't have to be. And victims can make a police report, and then they can go as far in that investigation as they want.
Police say Goodlow posed as a worker on several occasions in an effort to get into women's homes. Eventually, he would force himself in. From August of last year to September of this year, police say he broke into 6 houses and raped 8 different women.
After the second assault, we realized that there were similarities and eventually found that they were linked through DNA.
But that wasn't enough to track down the suspect. Police say he kept his face and his victims' faces covered during the assaults. It was during his most recent attack when investigators say Goodlow left something behind.
The suspect had moved a fan in the home of the victim, and we were, Crime Lab did an amazing job. They lifted a print, identified the print. We were able to identify a potential suspect at that point in time, and then we were able to obtain a DNA sample from that suspect.
Now police are looking back at prior cases to see if there are possible similarities or connections. In the meantime, they hope more victims come forward.
So that not only can we then pursue an investigation and prosecution, but so we can help them get the help that they need, because that's a life-changing traumatic event that they go through, and they shouldn't have to go through that alone. So we want to be able to help them through that as well.
That was Demi Johnson reporting. We have more details from the court documents as well as mental health resources on our website right now. Just go to wishtv.com and you can click on this story in the As Seen on Wish TV section. Brian Laundrie is still at large, despite some new video. It comes from a person's trail camera. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's released a still image of the video on social media. It was taken Monday morning. The camera's owner spotted a man who he says fits Laundrie's description. It was captured in Baker, Florida, about 500 miles away from Laundrie's hometown of Northport. According to the sheriff's office, an extensive search of that area was done. It didn't find anything or anyone of note. Gabby Petito's death has been ruled a homicide. John Lawrence explains what's happening now in the search for her fiance.
Amongst the peaceful, picturesque landscape of the Grand Teton Mountains in Wyoming, stones have been found assembled into the shape of a cross next to Spread Creek, near the spot where Gabby Petito's body was found Sunday. The FBI tweeting, the initial determination for the manner of death is homicide. And while investigators begin to uncover answers in Wyoming, thousands of miles away in Florida,
we're out here searching for Brian Laundrie.
The massive manhunt for Petito's fiance, Brian Laundrie, is back on.
You take this Whitfield, you're going to see the trail once you get there.
Authorities searching by land and by air in the vast wildlife lands of the Carlton Reserve in Sarasota County, Florida.
Terrain's very difficult. Essentially, 75% of it's underwater, and other areas that are dry we're trying to clear.
So this is...
Now, a woman is claiming in a series of videos posted to TikTok, she and her boyfriend encountered Laundrie hitchhiking alone in Wyoming on August 29th, days before he arrived back in Florida without Petito.
He was talking to my boyfriend the entire time, but I was the one actually talking, and he was not frantic, and he was very nice, very polite to us.
Police say her account seems plausible, but we have not verified her claims. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And spending splits Capitol Hill. Senate Republicans balk at a deal with Democrats on the debt limit and government funding. On a party line vote last night, the House passed a bill to keep the government running through December 3rd. It includes a suspension of the debt limit for another year. It also sets aside $28.6 billion in disaster relief funding and $6.3 billion to assist Afghan refugees. Senate Republicans are making it clear they will not back the House measure and are preparing their own. Differences include funding for Israel's Iron Dome defense system, but no debt limit suspension.
We're prepared to support a continuing resolution with assistance for Louisiana, with additional funds to replenish Iron Dome. What we're not prepared to do is to relieve the Democratic President, Democratic House, Democratic Senate from their governing obligation to address the debt ceiling.
Lawmakers are up against two deadlines. The budget runs out next Friday, and stopgap measures to deal with the debt expire next month. There were two significant earthquakes overnight. First, Australia, 5.9 magnitude quake. Video that we've seen shows that there were bricks fallen and streets were buckled. The country's prime minister says there are no reports of serious injury, though, and there's no tsunami threat. Then within the last few hours, there was a larger quake that rattled Nicaragua. The U.S. Geological Survey says a 6.5 magnitude quake hit about 50 miles off the country's west coast. We are still waiting to get more information on that. Right now, we don't know if anyone was hurt. There's no word on that, or if there was any significant damage. There is a one-stop shop for vaccinations of all kinds as we reach flu season. Franciscan Health is opening 7 drive-through clinics in Beech Grove, Columbus, Indianapolis, and Greenwood throughout this month and next. The health system says that you can get shots for the flu, COVID-19, shingles, and pneumonia. The clinics are open for people 6 months and older. If you go, they ask you to bring your insurance card. And the CDC is urging you to get the flu shot soon. The agency wants adults and children to get vaccinated by the end of October. Doctors say it's especially important for children who are too young to get the COVID vaccine to avoid potentially grave dangers of having COVID and flu at the same time. As the FBI reports that hate crimes are on the rise and underreported, Marion County officials are looking to change that. The first of a series of community discussions kicked off last night. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears says 45 states have hate crime laws on the books. Indiana is not one of them. Here's how he says his office is handling it.
What we have is, so when law enforcement's called to the scene, they're never called to the scene because of a hate crime. What we can do is argue for a statutory aggravator, meaning that a judge can impose a harsher penalty than they otherwise would, but there's not a standalone crime. And that really impairs law enforcement's ability to do an investigation because they don't have a standalone crime to investigate it.
Mears added that it's time for the state to recognize that it's a problem. He also noted that when it comes to dealing with hate, it's important to empower victims. And today you have a chance to give your input to INDOT's plan to improve a busy stretch of highway on the northeast side. The department plans on adding raised medians to Pendleton Pike, also known as US 36, from I-465 to East 56th Street. The medians would replace the center turn lanes. INDOT says the proposed changes come from a number of severe crashes in that area. The meeting starts tonight at 5 in the boardroom of the Education and Community Center of Lawrence Township Schools. And our sports team says there are now reports that Colts quarterback Carson Wentz could try to practice today. Hopefully at that point we'll know more about his status for Sunday too. The team has work to get ready for the Titans. Offensive coordinator Marcus Brady says the O-line is working hard. Head coach Frank Reich is also elaborating on the struggles up front.
See, that's what I love about those guys. That's what I love about Ryan Kelly and Quentin, is that I love guys who want to put it on their shoulders, who want to take the blame. And for sure we can get better. I'm not denying that there were a couple spots that, the protection broke down a couple of times that, we're not used to. But we'll get that cleaned up.
If Wentz is not ready to go on Sunday, the team will turn to Jacob Eason. And we'll get the chance to hear from Wentz directly about his status for Sunday's game. The quarterback joins Anthony Calhoun tonight for Wentz Day. AC goes one-on-one with Wentz every Wednesday now for coverage that fans don't get anywhere else. You can see our exclusive interview with Wentz tonight at 6 o'clock. A downtown Indianapolis coffee shop is getting attention with its no tipping policy. Top Out Cafe is on Roosevelt Avenue. It's on the upper level, the upper floor of the new North Mass Boulder climbing gym. It opened in July with the policy already in place. It's now the source of widespread online conversations on Reddit and elsewhere. Erica Oakley is the cafe's director of food and beverage.
We pay our employees a very living wage. We don't want our guests who come in to feel pressured to tip. We want them to know that our team and our staff are paying our people a living wage, and we want them to have fun when they're here. We don't want to make them feel obligated.
The customers we spoke with say they like the policy and that it takes the pressure off of them when they order. Utility work begins today ahead of a big IU Health Methodist project. There are some road closures you need to know about. The 16th Street entrance to the ER will be closed off, so walk-in patients and ambulances will have to use a new access road from the North Senate Avenue. 16th Street from Missouri to Capitol will also shut down today. It'll be this way until January 25th. More closures in the area are scheduled to begin in December. Crews will be relocating underground utilities to prepare for construction of the new downtown hospital and expanded Methodist campus. And to business headlines, Costco is having trouble fulfilling toilet paper orders. It issued a warning to customers that have purchased the common household item online, saying they may face delays in receiving their orders. It's recently said customers are stockpiling some items again. Apple is reportedly partnering with UCLA and Biogen to see if health data can be used to detect depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. The Wall Street Journal says the project reportedly involves data from iPhone cameras, keyboards, and audio sensors. It also takes into account Apple Watch data related to movement, vital signs, and sleep. This includes everything from facial expressions, speaking patterns, walking pace and frequency, typing speed, content, and a variety of other health metrics. The data is then compared to results from a questionnaire about a user's emotions and even levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, in research participants' hair. A Microsoft study found hybrid work may lead to digital overload. Based on data Microsoft has collected across its Microsoft 365 and Teams users, hybrid work needs closer management attention, or remote working employees could burn out. McDonald's is shaking up its Happy Meal toys. Instead of the plastic toys, kids will get 3D paper-based toys they can put together themselves. McDonald's says it's an effort to try to reduce the plastic waste generated from the toys. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.